All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. My name is Nick Bushcar. I'm here with my brother Jesse. Say hello, Jesse.
Hello, hello.
This is Not Replaced Yet Office Hours, where we bring you a rundown of today's AI news, have a little chat about what's going on in the world of AI automation and all things that are shaking up the future of work. And we hope that you are liking the show. If you are here watching now, please like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. Go to notreplacedyet.ai and sign up for our email list. We are building a growing community, and we are happy to have you here, and we are just trying to get it out to as many people as possible. And Jesse, how's it going, man? What's going on in the world today? What is it, Wednesday?
It's Wednesday, April 23rd. Going on Friday, almost Friday Eve.
Yes, of course. Of course. All
Yeah,
right, well, I'm gonna get some things kicked off here, unless you wanted to get into something.
No, run it. I was gonna say I've been playing with deep research. We've been talking about our
Oh,
next
interesting.
full podcast, and so been
Yeah.
trying to get my head wrapped around the usefulness of deep research, which I think I've had my first kind of aha light bulb. But no, let's dig
Nice.
into the news and see what's going on out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will say we had a technical issue yesterday, and by technical issue, I mean I forgot to turn the music off while I was reading the news, and so I listened back to the recording, and you cannot hear it all at all. So I'm actually going to run down Tuesday's headlines and then go into today's headlines. And so I have it all written here. Today's going to be a little longer, but all right. To kick it off from Tuesday, April 22nd, the White House is drafting an executive order that would integrate AI into K through 12 education nationwide. Under the proposal, federal agencies would train students in foundational AI literacy, fund teacher training, and launch an AI challenge for students. The International Monetary Fund says AI could boost global GDP by 0.5% every year through 2030, even with its growing carbon footprint. The warning is that AI data centers are already using energy equivalent to 8 Empire State Buildings worth of servers, and by 2030, electricity demands could triple. Still, the IMF says that economic gains will likely outweigh the environmental costs if we push for cleaner tech and smarter implementation, and that's a big if. Anthropic is predicting AI-powered virtual employees will start showing up inside company networks within next year, within this year, really. These AIs won't just be tools. They'll have memory, logins, responsibilities, and decision-making powers, but that comes with major security questions. Who is accountable when an AI goes rogue, and how do you secure a workforce that you can't see? In a twist at Google's antitrust trial, OpenAI's Nick Turley said the company would buy Chrome if given the chance. Why? To build a truly AI-first browser. OpenAI already hired ex-Google engineers who helped build Chrome, and rumors are swirling about an OpenAI-built browser. The UAE just became the first country planning to use AI not just to review, but to write its legislation. The goal is drafting laws 70% faster, being more responsive to the economy, and easier to update. AI could scan public data, measure impact, and even suggest regulatory updates automatically. In medical news, AI tools are becoming essential in oncology, helping with everything from treatment planning to pattern recognition and diagnostics. Dr. Douglas Flores says AI is saving oncologists time, reducing burnout, and even helping identify the best therapies based on genetic markers. And in a fun story, fashion icon Norma Kamali is using generative AI to reimagine decades of her design archive. Her AI doesn't just remix styles, it invents entirely new ones. Through her custom model trained on her past work, she's proving AI can be a creative partner, not a replacement, and a powerful tool for sustainable on-demand fashion production. And that is the rundown of Tuesday's headlines. Now for today's news. MIT researchers have reimagined machine learning as a periodic table. Their new framework connects over 20 classical ML algorithms through a unifying equation. And it's not just theory. They've actually used it to invent a new image classifier that outperforms state-of-the-art by 8%. With empty slots hinting at future discoveries, this table could accelerate how we build AI the same way that the chemical table shaped modern science.
I love that.
I love that part. In a new episode of The AI Revolution in Medicine, Epic's Seth Hain and Microsoft's Dr. Matt Lundgren reveal how generative AI is being embedded across hospitals, from reducing paperwork to assisting with diagnostics and follow-ups. Over 150 tools are in development with multimodal AI in use. And the future, this isn't in the future, it's actually live in over 300 systems today. A big story, there are big changes at Intel. Under new CEO Lip Bhutan, the company plans to cut over 20% of its workforce. The move is a part of a pivot back to engineering roots and a major reshuffling of its AI chip strategy after trailing competitors like NVIDIA. It is Intel's second major round of layoffs in under a year. The AI boom may be hitting turbulence as U.S.-China tariffs soar. Tech giants are reconsidering massive data center investments. Microsoft and Amazon have already slowed projects. Hardware costs are rising, supply chains are strained, and analysts worry this could stall America's AI momentum just as it was hitting full throttle. In the Google court case, court documents have revealed Gemini now has 350 million monthly users, up from just 9 million daily users in October. It's still behind ChatGPT, but shows Google's integrations into Samsung Workplace and Chrome are working. I'm sorry, Samsung Workspace and Chrome are working. And with more companies using AI to write code, Endor Labs has just raised $93 million to scan code for security flaws in real time. They're already protecting 5 million apps and count OpenAI and Dropbox as customers. And finally, Noxtua, formerly Zane, just raised over $92 million to build sovereign AI for the German legal system. With access to the largest legal document database in the region, their Beck Noxtua model runs entirely on German infrastructure, addressing geopolitical and privacy concerns head on. There's a lot.
Interesting.
And especially covering a lot since we went through 2 days headlines worth here at one time. But do you want to, I mean, anything pop into your head and you want to riff on any of those stories or?
I mean, the one that I was tracking was the Anthropic saying that full-time virtual employees could arrive this year. I just think that is a miscalculation on how these agentic systems will be integrated. I think it's Anthropic's not usually the headline grabbing type. They're not usually the clickbaity type, but they are also playing in a game that requires, you know, awareness of PR and awareness of you know, getting people talking about them. And so I don't know if they believe it or if they, you know, don't have a different take on it, but it just seems like we're not going to be thinking about these full-time employees, these agents as full-time employees. I mean, I don't know. Do you feel differently? You think we'll think of them as like, oh, here's a human employee and here's a virtual employee, and they're kind of like the same class of employee? I just don't see that as realistic.
It's a good question. I heard, oh man, I can't remember who it was. It was some podcast recently that I was listening to, and they were talking about, it's kind of talking about the same thing on a different path. And what it was the idea that if some NVIDIA chip costs $30,000, that the question is how quickly could you get paid back from that? Like what's the revenue that the work that chip does could bring back to you? And so the idea is if the work done by some chip that costs $30,000 could bring in $50,000 to $100,000 of revenue, then obviously that's a good, you know, purchase, right?
Yeah.
And so I do agree, just sort of riffing off the top of my head, that it does seem like there will be this separate class. It's like almost like just a different way of thinking of an employee. But I mean, I guess, I don't know, like to sort of talk through it, like if you imagine writing a spec for what what an AI employee would do at your business. If you wrote that spec and then I mean, I like it in the framework of what was the old the stock market game that you played at school back in the day, right? You can you don't actually have to have it like do anything real. You can have it running in the background to see what happens
Simulation, yeah,
in
yeah.
simulation of it all. And so if you write the spec for what the AI's job is, and then you let that run for 1, 3, 12 months and see how it goes, that's a really interesting test, because if it had a 90% success rate, and that 10% was maybe unimportant, or non-critical, like at the failures, or because of its failures, like nothing
Yeah.
would have broken or whatever, then maybe we will just start seeing AI employees pop up. But it's, I don't know.
Like I mean,
It's
like legally, and I have this because we don't have employees, we have contractors, right? We
right.
we, and so like legally, I'm always very careful not to call one of our team members an employee because we don't offer the same structure as W-2 employment. We can't.
Sure.
We don't have the margins and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm always very like, oh, is that specific? I think they're using it in a more general sense, but I don't think that the businesses themselves will consider internal uses of AI to be. I think it's like problematic to call them employees from an internal
Mm,
perspective. And so from the outside, maybe you see that, but from the inside, you wouldn't think of them like that. So we'll see. I mean, maybe it's semantics. I think the
yeah.
point they're making is the agentic nature is going to evolve quickly, and I don't disagree with that. And then I think my point, which maybe we do an episode on in the future, is what it comes down to is at what layers of given businesses do you need human responsibility? Because you can put a very capable agent there, but so much of professional accountability is around CYA because,
Hmm.
just because I could generate graphic web development design, web designs, right, using a Lovable or whatnot, do I want to be accountable for the responsibility of deploying and like justifying those? No, I probably don't, because I'm a senior executive and I want someone else to do that. And AI makes it easier, but it doesn't change the shouldering of responsibility and accountability. And so I think that's the human factor that will keep the layers in place. And I think then there's a big remixing inside of that, depending on what the agents get better and better at or lag behind on.
Yeah.
But
I
I don't know.
agree. I
That's
mean, there's an inherent conservatism to larger corporations, right? And
well, and
they,
let me yes and myself just real quick. Sorry to pass the mic and cut you back off. The trying to get a mathematical equation for like how much value can this $30,000 GPU create for us. I don't think that's you gotta roll your own formulas for that, by the way, because like that's not something like that's different for every deployment, every industry. What are you going to use that agent to do? So like the value is your own homegrown thing. It makes me think of crypto. You can do that, right? Because mining a Bitcoin takes the same amount of power, or has the same, like there's this consistent usage of a GPU, whereas with AI you can generate images and you can respond to emails, and both of those would result in completely different value equations for a company, for a given deployment. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know that that's a possibility, but in crypto it makes sense. So
Mhm.
anyway, sorry to steal the mic back.
No, no, no. I think that makes sense. I don't know anything else besides the employee aspect. I mean, we've been running for almost about 15 minutes here. So
No, I think it's
if
good.
you're
I'm excited to get episode that we got episode 4 out. I'm excited to get episode 5
for
underway here in
sure,
the next couple of days. And if you do tune in or you're watching in retrospect, we've got a lot of good things on the horizon. So make sure to subscribe. I've been checking the Spotify numbers are going up, so that's good news. Because all of we're not live on Spotify. I don't even know if you can be live on Spotify. That seems like
I don't think so.
something we should investigate, but I don't think so. Um, but the YouTube numbers, if you're watching on YouTube, YouTube podcast is expanding, and so thank you to everyone who's checking out that, who's tuned into the lives, and yeah, subscribe, drop a comment, let us know what you like, let us know what we need to talk more about or less about, and any kind of other engagements, 5-star reviews. If it's not 5-star, let us know. Don't give us a low review. Let us know.
Please, please.
Um, Otherwise, no, Nick, you could take us out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, This has been another episode of Not Replaced Yet Office Hours. My name is Nick Bushkar. For Jesse, we thank you for being here. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, sign up at notreplacedyet.ai for the email list, and we will see you tomorrow.
Something on my shirt the whole time.